Students, I wanted to make a video to help you use the library databases and the library catalog to find your sources. In the past, I've had kind of a virtual library session with those students who could make it, and I'm not sure how helpful that was, so I wanted to try something different this time. And I'm hoping at this stage, you are starting to think about your topics and your research question, what you'd like that to be. There are several places you can go to start thinking about your topics that are helpful. One of them is procon.org, and they're a really useful source for trying to find a topic that's interesting to you and debatable. They give kind of a Wikipedia, but not Wikipedia because it's trustworthy, entry-level intro to these topics. So if you're interested in something like, I'm just looking here, seeing what jumps out at me. If you're looking at something like tablets versus textbooks, you want to know, there's been a big shift in education from textbooks to favoring tablets. Is this a good thing? Is this helpful? You're just kind of thinking about these things. Well, these pop-ups are driving me crazy, sorry. So when you go in here, you see they even form kind of a research question for you about what in this area is being debated. So should tablets replace textbooks in K through 12 schools? And it's great because you can even look at kind of a brief rundown of the pro and the con, what the arguments are on either side. And of course, this does not replace like actual digging in the library databases for complete sources, but this gives you a sense of the debate and how it works, what people on each side are saying, and what their major reasons for it are. So Procon is a great place to start to look for topics and to form research questions. Another great place is one of our library databases. So if you're starting from our home screen at Lake Sumter State, and then you click on the libraries link down here in the middle in the blue bar, I'm going to click on that. That brings me into our library website. And there are different parts in this that can be helpful to you. I won't run down them all because I don't want to overwhelm you. But for our purposes, we're really going to be interested in this blue area over here where it says Site Search and Find Books. So the items in this blue box can help you get to the databases that the library has, which is where you're required to get most of your sources from for your annotated bibliography. And you're required to find one book. So this is where you can find that book on your topic. And for now, I just want to show you one particular database while you're thinking about your research question and what it might be that might lead you to more research topics that you might not be thinking about. So if you go to databases A to Z, this gives you an alphabetical list of all the library databases that Lake Sumter has, which are quite a few. And don't worry, we're not going to go into all of these. There are just a few that I want you to be familiar with for your for this class and our purposes. As you go on in your academic career, when you go into maybe a science class, they might show you more science-oriented databases, or education classes might show you more education-related databases. But I'm going to focus later on in this recording on some of the general databases that have a lot of different topics in them. And for right now, I think what would be useful to you is if you click on the O up here in the alphabet, we can get to this database called Opposing Viewpoints in Context. And maybe some of you, if you took ENC 1101 here, are familiar with this database. I show this to my 1101 students when they write their research argument. And this is a useful database because if you click on it, well, first it's going to ask you to log in, and you want to log in with your XID and then your 6-digit birthday. Hopefully it lets me in. So this is Opposing Viewpoints is the name of the database, and this specializes in gathering articles that have been written out in the world about controversial topics. So it kind of gathers them all in one place. And here on the front page, you can see they're grouped into categories a lot like procon.org, where you can say, oh, I'm interested in business and economics, so then you can view more topics based on that. Or I'm interested in healthcare and medicine. Oh, let me look at that. I want to look at what's being debated right now in the national scene. I want to look at that. So you can do it that way. And so let me see if there's anything that I want to look at. I'm going to look at Syria. I've been interested in a lot of the talk about whether or not America should, put boots on the ground in Syria, how much we should be involved in the Syrian civil war and things like that. So if you go in here, you see they kind of give you a breakdown, again, like Procon, maybe like Wikipedia, where they give you a summary of what's going on and what the debate is, which can be really helpful if you're not familiar with that topic, if you're choosing something that's new to you, which is fine. It's great to choose a topic that's new to you, then you learn more about it. And you'll see here they break down, they have featured viewpoints and different viewpoints. So, these are viewpoints mean different opinions about the topic. And they give you a sense of how timely these topics are. You can look at these, they're all this year. So this is a very timely source, a very timely topic with all of these sources. And it even breaks down for you what kinds of sources they have here, if you're interested in that, and which you will be later, because this source, academic journals, one of the things I require of you is, I think it's 2, although you need to double check that, is 2 scholarly sources for your annotated bibliography. And scholarly and academic journals, when I say that, they're all the same. So if you hear an instructor say you need a peer review source, or you need an academic source or a scholarly source, that's all academic journals. And different databases might call them different things. But if you click on that, then that just takes you into all the sources already sorted for you. So you take 2 of these and you go, okay, I've got my scholarly sources now. So this is a good place to click around to just look. And you can also just browse issues. This button, Browse Issues, has things alphabetically. So if you're just not sure and you just want to look, and then you can go click around. And I've had lots of students, and I'm really happy that they do this. They take the time to look through here and not just pick a topic that they think will give them lots of information so they won't have to spend lots of time researching. I mean, I understand that we're all pressed for time and that none of us want to, spend extra time doing something, or we're scared we're going to pick a topic that's not going to pan out for us. But I think if you choose a topic that you're really, really super interested in versus one that you think will be easy, the reading is going to be more enjoyable. So it's going to be less like homeworky, and you sitting there, going, oh, I have to read one more article, I have to find one more, I just want a short one, that kind of thing. Versus if it's something you're truly interested in, you're going to want to read about it. You're going to want to become more well-informed, and it won't seem as much like drudgery. So I really encourage you to take the time up front and figure out what it is that interests you. And then some people think they're interested in something, and then they end up reading about it going, oh, I can't read 10 articles on this. So again, taking the time up front to figure out what you would like to read about is important. So those are 2 places, procon.org and Opposing Viewpoints, where you can research topics and try to turn them into research questions. One other place that's good is, I just went back to our libraries here. When I was away from you, I was clicking. So I just opened up a new page, and so let me show you where I went. Lake Sumter State College, and then I went under Research Help to this link that says Research Starters right here. I clicked on that, and that brought me in here. And this kind of breaks down a little bit more how to find a topic But one other page that I think is pretty useful is this Pathfinders at Broward College. This is Broward College in South Florida. And they have a similar layout to what we just saw with pro-con and with opposing viewpoints, where they have all these topics listed alphabetically. But I think this is a helpful source also, because when it comes to figuring out how to compose a research question, if I click on police brutality over here, a lot of times they will help you narrow the topic. They will come up with questions for you. Now, not all of these are workable for our purposes. Remember, we don't want a research question that is factual. So I'm trying to think. Sometimes they have ones that are very straight and direct questions that are more factual and research based than opinionated, but it looks like all of these are opinionated. So, when you're looking for topics, just make sure that it's debatable, meaning there are people out there disagreeing with it. So you might need to take it on a run in Google, and just say, okay, what are the causes of police brutality? Google's pretty good. I can just put that in there and see what happens, and see if I'm getting back credible sources, not just a message board here or there. Look, there's a .gov source. There's a state source. Huffington Post is pretty well known. Wikipedia, I don't want that. How.com, I don't want that. So it looks like there are some repeatable sources coming up, and that's only a cursory glance. You'd probably want to click into those and just make sure that you're seeing some debate going on back and forth about it. And then we can say, yes, it is a debatable source. The other things, like we said, you want to make sure that it's timely. If you have a source that's really, really recent, like, should Donald Trump be president or something, I don't know if that is too recent of a topic, and if there's enough research out there so that it's researchable in terms of the kinds of sources we need to find, like library databases and books. We're not going to be able to find a book, I don't think yet, about whether or not Donald Trump should be president. So we might stay away from topics that are too timely or too dated, or maybe just have been hashed, over and over. I was just thinking, that's kind of punny there. I was thinking of, should marijuana be legalized? And I was thinking it's been hashed to death. It's a little punny. But because now, there is a lot of legislation. There are, what is it, 5 distilleries in Florida now that have been okayed for medical marijuana, at least. So maybe recreational marijuana might still be debatable. And I know that I included something like that in my PowerPoint, which has questions that are a little bit dated in it, because I did it a few semesters ago. But hopefully this gets you started thinking about, your topic. And then to take you back, I know it can be confusing. How do you get back here? If you just always start at the library homepage, when you're looking for sources for your annotated bibliography, so after you found your topic, after I've approved a question, so you'll submit 2 questions to me and I'll say, both are good, go with whichever one you want, or I'll say, no, this one's good, go with this one, or I'll say, well, you really kind of probably need to tweak the wording on this, but if you make it say this, then you're better off, so go with this. So I will definitely give you feedback on your research question. And once you've gotten that, you want to go out and start finding sources right away. So the places you want to go, mainly, you're allowed to get a couple from the internet, meaning Google. This is still the internet, but you can go through Google, but most of them have to come from the databases A through Z. So I'm going to show you, besides opposing viewpoints, the one that we just went to, a couple of others that are useful. One of them, and again, I would say write this down so you don't have to go find this in the video again, is Academic Search Complete. This is a helpful database because it's a general database. It has lots of different sources in it, different kinds of sources. And the unfortunate thing about the databases is they're just not as intuitive as Google. They're just not as easy to use. So you can't type in, probably like we did with, where did it go? What are the causes of police brutality? if I take this question and I type it in to Academic Search Complete's search bar here, and I say search, oh, I did get some back. It's getting better. Well, it says your initial search query did not yield any results. However, using smart text searching, oh, they're getting smarter. Results were found based on your keywords. Oh, look at them. Because it used to be, man, they would just, the database would say, nope, I reject your search. There's no results. And you would have to phrase it more like causes of police brutality, not in what the Google people might call natural language. But it does look like it's getting smarter that way. So maybe you can put these kind of things in there. But if you don't, if you had a hard time and it said no search results, don't think there aren't any sources. You might just need to tweak your wording a little bit. Let me see if I can come up with something that will make their smart text searching react poorly. So if I say something like, should we intervene in Syria? So I think that would work in Google. But here it's saying Syria, should Britain intervene? That's from 2013. So, but if I put this in Google, yeah, see, I'm getting a lot back already because those Google folks, they're just so good with natural language. So if I go back to my database here, maybe if I go, I might look at some keywords. So U.S. Syria military action, maybe if I type in U.S. and Syria and see what I get back. Looks like I'm getting more things in that area. So I've hit upon better search terms there. So their smart text isn't that smart. So my lesson here, my cautionary tale to you is don't just type in a question and say, well, they don't have it. I'm calling it a day. I'm going to go with, should marijuana be legalized, even though I'm not that interested in it, or gay marriage, or whatever the case may be. Not that those aren't, important topics, but they are ones that have been done and done and done. And so you might find something that's a little bit more relevant to you, more interesting to you. So Academic Search Complete is one of the databases. Just like in the other one, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, you can click that, and then the sources you get back are only those scholarly journals. So if that's what you're looking for because you need to have a couple for your annotated bibliography, that's how to do that. You can even minimize the publication date if you only want things, ISIS has only been around for kind of a short time by the name of ISIS. So if you want ones that are more focused on ISIS, you can narrow the dates, and that narrows your search results also. So you're probably going to get things that are a little bit more relevant to the past couple of years. Sometimes you want, a source that's older to give you a historical context on your topic, but a lot of times it's not necessary. And what else was I going to show you? Oh, I was going to go in here and I was just going to show you how to get in here. So if you actually click on this, it'll bring you into some information about the topic, but there's HTML full text and PDF full text. I like the PDF because it's kind of neat. It's how it appeared in the magazine, so you get all the pictures, which is, I think it's kind of nice. The HTML doesn't give you the pictures, it's formatted just words. So this gives you that. And the great thing about all these databases, I don't want to sound like when I was young we had to walk uphill both ways in the snow year-round, that kind of thing, but you have it so easy. If you go over here, where is it? Email. You can email this article to yourself. So this is a great way to keep track of all your sources. Sometimes students think, oh, I'll find it again. Or they try to give the link, copy the link to themselves, but sometimes those links aren't persistent. But if you email it to yourself, then you always have it, And I usually start a folder in my inbox, like, you know, oh, these are my ENC 2300 articles. And I just put everything in that folder that I think is useful. And then when I have time, I can go back and look at it. But if I go into the source like I was before, here it has the little words now, here's this cite button. So if I click on cite, it gives me all these different ways to cite this source. So for your annotated bibliography and eventually for your argument paper, you're going to have a works cited entry. You can just copy and paste this into your document. Sometimes it's not exactly right, so you want to make sure that it looks like it has all the right information. And this isn't double spaced, so if I Control C, let's see if I get this. Just going to pop open a document really quickly so you can see. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I wanted a new document. Sorry, I was looking at our syllabus a minute ago. And so if I go into this new document and I have it, you know, my annotated bibliography here, that's spelled incorrectly, and I center it, and, you know, I've started my paper. I want to make sure that it's double spaced. So I go into spacing, and I go to double, and I want to make sure I have my hanging indent. So under indentation, I can go to hanging, and it naturally goes to the 1/2 inch that I want. And then if I paste, it gives me some different ways that I can go. I can merge formatting, keep text only, or keep source formatting, which I don't want because it gives me this weird green bar. But the middle one, merge formatting, it keeps the italics where I need them, because a lot of times students will just paste it in there, and then when I grade their final, I say, oh, you've forgotten all the italics, that kind of thing, or you've forgotten to double space it. Oops, sorry, I touched the screen. And so just be mindful of that as you're pulling the citations in for your annotated bibliography. So that's Academic Search Complete. And the other one I wanted to show you, besides Academic Search Complete, is SIRS Researcher. So if you go to the S, so you've got Opposing Viewpoints, Academic Search Complete, and this one, SIRS Issues Researcher. And this is, again, this has some places if you want to look for topics. It has the top 10 pro versus con leading issues. So you can look on that, see if that's interesting to you. You can browse topics alphabetically. And then it has this search by. And again, I would make sure to change it to keyword natural language, because you're going to get better results than subject headings, which are usually the Library of Congress subject headings and don't really work the way we think most of the time. So unless you're a librarian, I go with the keyword natural language. So again, that might be where we would type in, what did I type in before? Oh, I don't want all that, never mind. I was gonna see how this question works in SIRS. Usually they're not even as good as Academic Search Complete. Oh, look, they got stuff though. Interesting. I'm sorry, SIRS, for bad-mouthing you and calling you less than Academic Search Complete, because they are coming up with sources there. So, you know, but again, in the search box, just be careful if you're not getting the sources you want back to play with the wording, because a lot of times it won't be there. And this looks a little bit different than Academic Search Complete and then Opposing Viewpoints, but it's got a lot of the same bells and whistles. It has a citation that you can copy and paste. So I just clicked on citation up here. I know I'm going quickly, but I'm assuming you guys can pause this as a video and go back if you want to. So you can even listen to the source if you don't feel like reading it.
Marshall, Patrick G. The Elusive Search for Arab Unity. Editorial Research Reports. Oct. 1990, 602 to 614. 2015.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know, that's not all, I guess? That was just the beginning. I wanted to see if it sounded more normal as it went on, or if it just sounded robotic like that. But there are these helpful things for you, the citations and the emailing in almost all of the sources. So, you know, they have print view. If you like to print them, if you want the hard copy, you can do that too. So hopefully this will help you get started. And the last thing I want to show you is the how to find books in the library catalog. So this is our library catalog. We have in Southlake more ebooks than regular books, hard books. But in Leesburg, I think we might be pretty even. So I'm trying to think of a topic. If I type in police, again, and this is definitely not natural language, this search box. And it doesn't help. It's not like Google. If I don't spell it exactly if I don't spell it exactly right, it will not be forgiving. It will not say like Google does, did you mean blah, 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 blah. So police brutality anywhere. So I'll stick with anywhere now and see what I get back. If I get back too much, I might try to narrow it down to title or subject heading or something like that. But let's see if I just hit search, if I get anything back. So it looks like 73 matching items, 52 of these are available online. So, and it will show you, this means like it's a real book, this picture, but if you see a little E picture hovering over it, like down here, it's an ebook. So that's the difference there. And really the books aren't too hard to get, so it tells you where it is, you know, like this is in Leesburg. This they have in Leesburg and in Southlake. So you could actually go there and just go to the upstairs and there are little numbers on the edge of the aisles, or you could ask a librarian. They're so happy to help you to get this book and you could check it out. You could place a hold on it. If you're scared somebody's gonna get there ahead of you, you can do those things. And then you can email the information to yourself in case you want it. And I think this even has a citation tool too. Yep, cite this. So even the books have that information where if that's what you're looking for. So please reach out if you're having trouble, students, and let me know what's going on with you. Please don't just change your topic without communicating with me. Please don't give up and just, you know, not turn in anything for your annotated bibliography. This is an important assignment. It's worth a lot of your grade. And remember, this is not the essay part. This is just the research part. So you're finding research, you're finding 10 sources, you're formatting them, and you're summarizing them and including specific criteria that are listed on the annotated bibliography guideline sheet. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a day there. Please reach out to me if you're having trouble. Say it one more time. All right.